Hello everybody, how's it going? This week I thought I would do a little bit more of a introspective video than I've been doing. I love painting, I love getting reviews and getting new content to review and putting it out there and kind of sharing tips and techniques and all of that, and that's the main purpose of the channel for sure. But I have kind of hit a bit of a doldrums recently. Travel for work and a few other things have meant that I've not really had much time for the hobby, and also strangely not really wanted to hobby as much. And I kind of wanted to talk about that. Talk about burnout in the hobby, hitting doldrums, whatever you want to call it. It's something that I think happens to all of us at some point or another, if not all, then most. And I definitely do not believe that it means that you've lost interest in the hobby. For me, I tend to feel like this way every year, maybe every 6 months, and it's fine. That's okay. It can be a problem if you are professional, if you've got deadlines to hit. That's an issue. But for most of us, this is first and foremost a hobby. It's for enjoyment, and if you're not enjoying it in the moment, that's fine. You can take a break. You can go do something else for a bit, and just give yourself the permission to not have to grind all the time. And I think that's important, right? Like the first and most important thing, that it is okay to kind of feel this way. But the thing that I really wanted to do is kind of give you some things that I found help me get back in the mood to hobby, help lessen the anxiety caused by being in the doldrums and not really wanting to paint or to hobby in the way you usually do. And these are just things that have worked for me in the past, continue to work for me now. They may not work for you, some may be better than others, but here are a few of the things that I've found to be helpful. So I think the first thing, and maybe this is a bit more of a preemptive thing in a lot of cases, is if you feel like you're approaching frustration or burnout on your hobby, if you're trying to maybe crank through the last of an army, or you've just you feel like you've been pushing yourself too much on painting something or whatever, maybe you're working on a competition piece, whatever it may be, just switch to something similar but different. Just give yourself a bit of a break. So one example might be switching to a different model or a different type of model, right? You could I sometimes will switch between gaming models and scale models. I feel like the focus is slightly different. The amount of effort I'm putting in different areas changes. Also, if you've kind of burnt out on painting, swap out to hobby prep, right? Start clipping those models, cleaning them up, assembling them for your next batch or whatever. Clean up your hobby space. My hobby space perennially looks like a bomb has hit it. And so sometimes I will just kind of blitz through and tidy up and just put things away where they really ought to be, instead of the clippers that are currently scattered across my desk. Those little things can really actually have quite a big impact and refresh you before you've completely burnt out and help you get back into the swing of things. Sometimes that's not enough, sometimes that comes too late, and if that's the case, then you want to really kind of give yourself a reset. If you want to try and stay in the hobby or adjacent to the hobby to really get yourself some maybe some inspiration to get back into things, doing hobby adjacent stuff, right? Actually playing some games, play some casual pickup games, maybe even you know, read some of the related fiction, especially for the Games Workshop fans out there. There is a ton of fiction, and a lot of it's really good, really enjoyable, and oftentimes really inspirational. Those of you that are watching my live stream series on the Mega Gargant know that all of that is based off of a single short story that appeared in a White Dwarf, and that was me just kind of rebooting and going, you know what, this has given me a really vivid imagery that I'd like to express in a model. So those are like the kind of the hobby related things, but you know, if that's not working, or if that's not where you want to be going with this, you just want a complete clean break, the most important thing I think is to try and get outside. Doesn't have to be super active. You can just go and chill in the garden a bit and get a little bit of sunlight if you are somewhere that allows for that, or at least daylight. Try and get out. If you want to be active, if you can be active, do that. You know, the physical activity kicks off a load of really feel-goody kind of drugs in the body that is a good way of just helping yourself feel better and reboot. The other thing is kind of like the mental toll that pushing yourself too hard can take. And for that, you want to just kind of break, relax. Read is a good way of doing it. I mean, if you're a movie buff like I am, watching a movie or watching a series, if you're really burnt, then just go back to something that's familiar, right? Like, we've all done this during the pandemic. It is comfortable, it's easy, and it just kind of helps. But yeah, just, you know, consider what is going to be different enough for you to be able to really reset and feel better. I think the most important piece of this is you can't beat yourself up about the lack of progress or the fact that you're not into it. If you just keep pushing at this, especially, you know, with a hobby like ours, you're going to make mistakes. It's going to frustrate you more, and that's not a good place for everyone. So, you know, recognize the early signs, try and cut it off at the pass, and, you know, if it hits, don't sweat it. We all get it, right? You know, the other piece to say about this is kind of the social media piece, right? Obviously, I'm a YouTuber, so I've got that, or Instagram, you know, whatever medium you're using to kind of communicate your hobby progress, interact with the rest of the community. It doesn't have to be constantly pumping out fresh content for those channels. Sometimes you can do a really lazy video like this one that I'm doing right now, because I've not made much hobby progress lately, and I didn't really have anything to demo or teach for you guys, so I just wanted to kind of talk. If you're on Instagram, you know what? Sometimes you don't have something new to show, but other people do. Go out there, go like hit up a bunch of your followers, go check out what they've been doing lately. Put some comments in the work that they've done, right? Like, you know how much that means to you, so, you know, just spend an extra hour or something and go out and do that for other people. They'll definitely appreciate it, and, you know, you'll have a little bit of a break. Maybe you'll find some inspiration along the way. Don't let it beat yourself up that they're doing things better or whatever, or they're actually creating content. It's all too easy to feel that way, I know from experience. But the reality is, you actually are a much better painter than you think you are. You just have a slightly different style, and yeah, you may really admire the creamy smooth blends that someone else can get, but it might be that your grasping of contrast of light and shadow is better than theirs, or your choice of colors is better. um, those are the those are the things that it can be very hard to see in yourself. And so yeah, just try and go at it in a positive mindset and be a part of the community. Everybody appreciates it. And the account will still be there when you get back. If you lose followers, you lose followers. I mean, I'd say a lot of the time, a good chunk of the followers that I have are actually not real humans, or certainly not interested in our hobby. They're following for return follows, and it's just part of the churn. Don't sweat it. Just enjoy the community that you have, the people that you actually know, the ones that you interact with daily, and keep that side of things up, and it'll be fine. Algorithms be algorithms. They're gonna push you up or knock you down as the companies that implement them decide. That's that's by the by. The folks that you meet through these social media networks and interact with on a regular basis are really what matters. So there's a bunch of studies about how big a meaningful social network for a person can be, and that's really all that you need to hit. Everything else, it's if they enjoy your work, if they see your work, that's wonderful. Maybe you will make some new friends, but stick to the ones you have. Focus on them, support them, and that's really where I would say you should focus. That's kind of gone off a little bit from the core of this, which is dealing with burnout, but I think social media is often a cause of it and can be an exacerbator of the problem. So try not to let it define your success, your failure. So those are a few of my suggestions. If you are burning out, don't sweat it. It happens to all of us. Give it time. Chill out. Find some other things to enjoy. Whether it's activity, whether it's some other pastime, whether it's just playing with the models that we have. Make the most of that, right? If you guys are scale modelers, just step away from the piece that you're working on, the pieces that you're working on. Go research some of the history on something else, to study a different time period, study a different specialty, switch from aviation to armor or to naval or whatever. Give yourself the permission for a break. It's fine. And everything will still be there for you when you're ready to come back. So don't sweat it. As always, folks, thank you for watching. Later days. Can help it. It's appreciated.